This is Histories and Mysteries Uncovered. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jessica. And on this week's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about Nannie Doss. And I will be talking about Mary Timney. I forgot what my story was.
Well, we're back from our 2-week hiatus. I hope you guys didn't miss us too much.
And by now, Ashley has had her surgery.
I have.
So
We're recording this early, everybody. So I don't want to lie to you. We're recording it early, but this one will come out after our little 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, we're recording this in December.
Yeah, because I have my surgery on Monday. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So exciting.
So
I had a massive panic attack because we decided to record this weekend. And I, for some reason, thought Ashley's surgery was the 15th. And we were supposed to be recording on the 16th. And I was panicking and she wasn't responding to me.
I get this message from her. It's like, panic, panic, panic. Oh, never mind.
Surgery's on the 18th.
I'm very excited for this. So everybody wish me luck. Well, by the time you hear this, I'm already done, but hope it all went well.
Me too. I don't need
Future
another
Ashley,
emotional roller coaster.
I hope you're okay.
Fuck me too. That was emotional for me.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Poor Ashley. I'm like sobbing and she's the one with like major surgery. And I'm like, you almost died, honey.
Well, it's crazy too, because I mean, I knew it was serious, but I guess I didn't realize how serious. Because the surgeon comes in and they kind of lay it out for you, but they're cool, calm, and collected, right? And they've done this surgery many times, so it's kind of like whatever. And then a couple weeks after, I was talking to my friend whose mom was a nurse, and her mom said something like, she's lucky to be alive or whatever. And it hit me how serious this was. And I started crying then, but.
Well, I mean, she was just in the hospital a week ago for a colonoscopy.
Oh, yeah.
And the nurse was like, oh, I've heard of you.
Yeah, so they heard of it. So I live in a small town, so it's a small hospital. I don't think there's a lot going on, but yeah, they had heard of my case. So
That's crazy.
I know.
Anyways, we hope you all had a really good Christmas.
Yeah, and Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a safe and fun New Year.
Yeah, tell us if you got anything fun and special. And
yeah. I have a friend that just got engaged yesterday while they were doing their Christmas pictures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's exciting.
Okay, so I did Nannie Doss, and it's a wild ride. It's an old one, so it's an oldie but a goodie.
Okay, I don't even know what it's about.
So I got my stuff from All That's Interesting, History Defined, and Muskogee Phoenix, which is like a magazine. So old ladies. They basically do what they want and say what they want.
I know this one. Just kidding. I know this story. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. They basically do what they want and say what they want. We all know that outrageous grandma who says things that make us laugh to no end. Well, Nannie Doss, aka Nancy Hazel, was no different. She was sweet, giggly grandma. In fact, she loved telling stories of her past and would laugh and laugh when reliving the wonderful memories she had. Memories of murder. Dun, dun, dun.
No. Why was she called Nannie Doss if her name is Nancy?
I think Nancy or Nannie is short for Nancy. I mean, it's not really shorter. It's actually longer. I think Nanny's like a nickname for Nancy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, Nannie Doss was born way back in 1905 as actually Nancy Hazel in Blue Mountain, Alabama, to farmers Jim and Louisa Hazel. They had 5 children altogether, and none of them went to school. All of the children stayed at home to either do chores or work on the farm because, free labor. Her dad was known to be very controlling and abusive to both his wife and the children. And in fact, he wouldn't let the girls wear makeup or attractive clothing because he thought it would help prevent them from being molested by men.
No.
Yeah, it's not how that really works. He also didn't allow them to go to any social events. So they were pretty much isolated. They had to work all the time and they didn't get an education. At the age of 7 or 9, I saw one source said 7, one source said 9. The family was taking a train visit to relatives when the train suddenly stopped, forcing Nannie to plunge forward right into a metal bar on the seat in front of her. And after this, she suffered for years from severe headaches, blackouts, and depression.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it ends up being what she blames a lot of her stuff on, which I don't,
Of course.
yeah. But even through all of this and her father's isolation, Nannie dreamed of getting married to the perfect husband and living the idyllic life. Idyllic life.
Idyllic, yeah.
Idyllic life. She would read romance magazines, which is not like a romance novel. It's just a magazine about relationships, advice for relationships, love, finding love, that kind of stuff. And her favorite part was the Lonely Hearts column, which is where people would take out ads like looking for male or female, for a relationship, blah, blah, blah. At a young age, Nannie began working at the local linen factory where she actually met her first husband, Charles Braggs, at the age of 16, which is young even for the time because the average woman in that time was 21 when she got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
After a quick 4 months of dating, her father encouraged them to get married, probably to get her out of the house. And they did. They got married. They had only been dating for about 4 months. She was 16 years old and they got married. For some reason, tell me how much you'd love this, Jessica. For some reason, Charles's mother, so Charles was an only child and his dad had passed. So it was just his mom and him. And she insisted on living with the newlyweds.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah. Which is, odd. She was apparently abusive as well, just like Nannie's father was. And Nannie would later write, I married as my father wished in 1921 to a boy I only knowed about 4 or 5 months who had no family, only a mother who was unwed and who had taken over my life completely when we were married. She never seen anything wrong with what she done, but she would take spells. She would not let my own mother stay all night. So it was not a great relationship between Nannie and her mother-in-law. Between 1923 and 1927, Nannie had 4 children. That's 4 years. So she was basically pregnant for 4 years straight.
That's disgusting.
And at one time, and at the time, they would have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old. Like, can you imagine having that many little kids running around?
No. And you know what's funny? I think elephants are pregnant for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is that awful?
I can't imagine.
I could not.
Mm,
No thanks.
no. So the stress of having that many children that quickly and having her weirdo mother-in-law live with them caused Nannie to start drinking and smoking pretty heavily. Both her and Charles cheated on each other. Charles would disappear for days at a time. In 1927, her 2 middle children died out of nowhere. One day they were fine, and the next day they were gone. And everyone suspected food poisoning to be the issue because apparently you could kind of easily die from that back then. A short while after that, Charles took his firstborn, Melvinia, I think is how you say it. Melvina. Melvina?
Melvina?
Melvina? Sounds like Velveeta. Melvina and left, leaving Nannie, their newborn, and his mother together. Shortly after Charles left, Charles's mother passed away. which it's never said that Nannie did it, but we can probably assume. Anywho, Nannie was now a single mom with a newborn baby, Florine, Florine, Florine.
Lorraine.
Yeah, Florine, right?
Florine?
Yeah,
Yeah, Florine.
it's kind of pretty. Makes me think of fluoride though, but it's kind of
Makes
pretty.
it makes me think of Aunt Flo.
La, la. Okay, so because of this and her being single mom now, because Charles left, she got a job at the local cotton mill. In the summer of 1928, Charles came back with their daughter and another lady who was divorced and had a child as well. So he just showed back and was like, hey, I got a new lady. And soon after that, Charles and Nannie officially divorced, and Nannie took their two daughters back to live with her own mother. Charles, looking back, always said that he left because he was scared of her. I think he just left because he was a cheating bastard. But
Hopefully.
I mean, she is scary. So who knows? A short year later, in 1929, Nannie met Robert Franklin Harrelson, who went by Frank. They met through the Lonely Hearts column that I was telling you about earlier. And he would write her romantic letters, and she would send back
Aww.
and she would send
Oh.
back racy letters and photos.
Oh.
And Nannie getting it.
You go, girl.
Yeah. They married that same year.
Wow, he really liked those racy
He liked
photos.
them. But her happiness was short lived. Frank was an alcoholic who was extremely abusive. But she did stay with him for 16 years until 1945.
Wow. Hard to leave, though, sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But this time in her life wasn't all sadness. Her oldest daughter, Melvina, gave birth to a beautiful baby boy she named Robert Lee Hines in 1943. And 2 years later, Melvina gave birth to another baby, but he died soon after. And this is where it gets bad.
Okay.
So back then, they would give mothers giving birth ether. So as So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, as Melvina was recovering from the exhaustion of birth and just being on ether, she swore she saw her mother stick a hat pin into her newborn baby's head. But she was so out of it, she didn't know for sure. So she asked her husband and sister, and they said that Nannie was the one who told them that the baby had died, and they had noticed her holding a pin. But the doctors couldn't confirm or deny if this was what happened.
So she killed the baby.
That's what we can only assume. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the death tore Melvina and her husband apart. And eventually Melvina started dating a soldier who her mother, Nannie, did not approve of.
Of course not.
Yeah. And one night, after yet another fight with her mother, Melvina left to go visit her father and left Robert with Nannie. Unfortunately, Robert died mysteriously while Nannie was watching him.
What?
His death was ruled as asphyxia from unknown causes, but I think we can all know what that cause was.
And how old was he?
I don't know, but he couldn't have been more than 5 or 6.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah,
Killing your own grandchildren?
I know. And another reason why it seems pretty likely that it was her was that 2 months later, Nannie collected a $500 insurance policy that she had taken out on the young child. And back then, it wasn't as
That's a
well
lot.
regulated. Yeah. And it was, I adjusted for inflation. It's $8,530.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I mean, isn't much.
Not a lot for killing someone.
No.
No.
Never enough for killing somebody.
Right. Exactly. Yes. But definitely
Just
not 8,000.
putting it out there. Oh gosh. What is this?
Now, remember when I said that Nannie was married to Frank until 1945?
No.
Oh, I did. Well, it wasn't because they divorced and their marriage ended. It was because Frank died on September 15th, 1945, of food poisoning.
That's close to my birthday.
Oh. In actuality, Nannie Doss mixed rat poison after he came home drunk and raped her. So she then collected enough insurance money to buy a house near Jacksonville. And I'm not super mad about this one because, like, you should never kill anyone, but, like, also he was abusive and a rapist. So
Yeah.
Nannie then went right back to the Lonely Hearts column and she found her third husband, Arlie Lanning. It was an odd couple because Arlie was known to sleep with sex workers and Nannie was a devout member of the church, even though she was like a huge murderer. But, from the outside, this is what it looked like. So when Arlie died, because obviously he did, the community rallied around Nannie. His official cause of death was heart failure, but Nannie definitely poisoned him. Upon finding out that his will left his house that him and Nannie lived in to his sister, Nannie left and, like, wow, so weird. A couple minutes later, the whole house burnt down. So weird.
Okay, sorry. Okay, this is random. So I'm looking at pictures of Nannie Doss.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if the one picture I'm looking at from when she was younger is accurate or not,
Mm-hmm.
but all of them are like pictures of her as an elderly grandma,
Yeah.
right? And I know people say this about murderers all the time, and the fact that, we never expected this. Like they
Mm-hmm.
were a pillar of society, but I have never seen somebody fit that phrase more than her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Like a lot of murders look like murders, okay?
Yeah. They look
They're
creepy.
they're creepy. They have
Yeah.
a look. Even the attractive ones, they have a look about them. But this lady is just like she's smiling in every one of her photos. She has short, curly granny hair, glasses. Looks like she has a little bit of buck teeth. Like,
Yeah.
she just looks very homely
Mm-hmm.
and just like a grandma.
Which is crazy to me because the age she died was a lot younger than I was expecting based on how she looked.
How old was she?
59.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was at least in her 70s.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
My mom's, sorry, mom. My mom, my mom just turned 60. January 7th is her birthday. So happy birthday, mom.
Oh.
And she looks significantly better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have patients in my office that are like in their 80s and I think they're in their 60s.
Yeah. My mom is 65.
What?
Yeah.
No,
No, she doesn't look it at all.
no, she doesn't.
No. So, yeah, I was a little shocked by that, but
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Okay, spoiler alert, she dies.
she does. So, after the house just randomly burnt down, Nannie collected and cashed the insurance check that was actually meant for Arlie's sister. But again, back then, things weren't super regulated and checked on. So now that her home burned down, Nannie went to live with Arlie's mom, but wow, so weird. She mysteriously died shortly after.
Like how long after?
It didn't say, it just said shortly after.
Okay.
So homeless yet again, Nannie went to live with her sister, Davy, which
What is with these names?
they're weird, but I kind of like Davy for a girl. I think that's kind of cute. It's
Okay.
Davie.
Oh,
Maybe it's
okay.
Davi.
Maybe.
Anyway. So her sister was sick at the time, but wow, shocker, she died shortly after Nannie moved in.
Her sister?
Her sister.
This bitch is like not even going after random people. She's going after her freaking family.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah. But the ever romantic Nanny wasn't willing to give up on love just yet, Jessica. So she paid $15, which adjusted for inflation is $194 to join a dating service
Wow.
where she met a retired salesman named Richard Morton. They married in 1952, and he thankfully wasn't an alcoholic, but he was known to sleep around on Nanny.
She's just choosing them to like have a reason.
I think, yeah. In 1953, Nanny's mom needed help. So her dad had passed away, and then Nanny's mom fell and broke a hip. And so she needed some help. So Nanny said that she would go and take care of her. But wouldn't you know, a few months after Nanny started taking care of her, she died,
Mm.
her own mother. And shockingly, one of Nanny's sisters also died suddenly after a visit with Nanny.
Oh my gosh. This woman cannot stop.
Not.
And honestly, okay, I found a couple photos of her when she was younger. She was not that attractive. How are you getting all these men?
They probably weren't very attractive either, I would assume.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't ugh. Not that like
Not that looks are everything, but
no, but
no, I get it. Yeah. It's
yeah.
not like she was like a Marilyn Monroe roping in all these men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like baffled. It's not because like looks have anything to do with it. It's just like how?
Yeah.
How cunning were you or suave?
Yeah.
Like I just don't get it.
Yeah. So once her mother was no longer an issue, she turned to her cheating husband. Before she could exact her plan, his mother, Louisa, moved in with them and got in the way. So Nanny just killed her.
Oh,
First, the mother was poisoned, and then 3 months later, her husband was poisoned. But Nanny thought she'd find love again, and she did with Samuel Doss, who she married in 1953. He was a minister, and he was neither abusive nor alcoholic, but he did something to Nanny that may have been worse for her.
mm.
He told her that she could not read her romance novels. He said
Oh
that she could
no.
only read or watch things for educational purposes, which, excuse me, I'll read and watch whatever the hell I please.
Yeah, especially if it's smut.
Yeah, love it. I'm starting a new one right now. It's called Hook. Apparently it's like really dark and like I'm
Ooh.
excited.
Ugh.
Anywho, so she got pissed and made a prune cake with rat poisoning in 1954, but it didn't kill him.
Who the fuck would eat a prune
I
cake?
don't know.
Like, what?
I don't know.
It's the most disgusting thing.
But he was in the hospital for a month recuperating. He
Wow.
finally made a full recovery and went home, only to die a few days later when Nanny put arsenic in his coffee. Bitch did not give up.
Oh my God. She was like, I've
I'm
had
gonna
too
get
much.
you.
I just had the best time of my life this past month.
Yeah,
My God, woman.
I know. So the doctor that had treated Samuel for that month thought that something weird was afoot. And but he didn't really have proof. So when Samuel came back dead only 3 days later, after he spent a month recovering this guy, he was like,
Hmm.
this is weird. So they did an autopsy on him and found extreme amounts of arsenic in his system.
Oh shit.
So Nanny was immediately arrested and taken in for questioning. And at first, she wouldn't admit to anything and instead giggled and flirted the whole time with the detectives
Ew.
until her favorite show came on and they wouldn't let her watch it. So then she's like, yeah, fine, I killed him. And then admitted to killing all of her other husbands.
Oh my gosh. She just like flat out confessed.
Yeah. She didn't admit to killing her family members, but when they were exhumed, it was found that they all had rat poisoning or arsenic in their systems.
That's crazy that even back then they can tell that stuff and
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. It was believed that she killed at least 12 family members.
Wow.
She later blamed the murders on her head injury, the murders of her family on her head injury, and blamed the murders of her husband on marital boredom. She said, I was searching for the perfect mate, the real romance in life.
But not like, how does your head injury differentiate between people?
I don't know. I
Right?
don't know. Yeah.
My bad brain only wanted me to murder my family, but the good part of my brain was like, nah, leave him
Yeah.
alone. Go after your asshole husband instead.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what?
Yeah. What?
Girl, get a better reason.
So I found two different things. One said that she was supposed to be the first woman in Oklahoma to be executed, but the judge ruled her insane and gave her life in prison. Another source said that they actually didn't pursue the death penalty because she was a woman. I'm not sure which one is true, but either way, she was convicted, but only of the death of her last husband. They didn't get her on any of the other deaths.
Why?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is because they didn't really catch her in the act. You know, like they had to exhume and found arsenic, but how can you prove that she's the one that did it?
I guess. But if she's confessing,
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but she did get life in prison. And every time she spoke of the murders, she giggled and laughed, giving her the name the Giggling Granny.
ew.
She eventually,
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah, she eventually died in prison at the age of 59 of leukemia, which again, she was only 59 when she died in prison. So this was
Guys, look up
like,
her picture. She like did not.
no. So because her last husband died in 1954. So she only died. Wait, how old was she in?
What year did she die?
Yeah, I just got myself really confused. I was like, wait, because I was like, oh, he died in 1954 and she was 59, so that's only 54 to 59, but no, that's her age and that's a
Yeah.
year, so that's not how that works. She died in 65.
Oh, a year after my mom was born.
Oh.
Sorry, Linda. Mom. Oh no.
So that was only 11 years later when she died. So in 1954 when she was arrested, she was 40 something, right?
She was born in 1905, right?
Yeah. So she was 50 something. Math.
Why don't you just like look at Google for her death day? It's gonna tell you how old she was.
Fine.
It's
59.
confusing.
I told you that. It's in my notes. She was 59 when she died.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I tried to calculate that then. And I
Yeah,
said
that
in
was
her
really
40s at
embarrassing.
first. I can do math, people. I promise. I can do basic adding and subtracting.
No, she cannot.
But yeah, so I mean, if you look at some of these pictures of her, she looks like she's 70.
Yeah, she really
I don't know.
does.
Maybe it's just the hairstyle, because like that's what they wore. And then that's what older women who would be like our grandma ages, that's the hairstyle they wore. So maybe it's the hairstyle that we just
Maybe.
equate with that age.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. She just looks, you know.
Yeah. She kind of looks like my Aunt Sherry. But my Aunt Sherry is like 80. So
Okay, I'm like, oh, poor Aunt Sherry.
no, she's like 80. My mom was young. She's like my mom's half sister or something like that. So yeah, but anyway, so that's the story of the giggling grandma.
Giggling Granny. Wait,
Mm.
giggling Granny, not griggling.
Giggling granny.
Oh, I have to say, so that story was terrible, first of all.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dismiss that I heard it and I loved it and you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I complained today at Starbucks. I physically went online to complain about the service I had today.
You, Karen.
I know. I know. But in my defense, so there's like you guys have rest stops, obviously, and like
Hmm.
little places to get off. So here we have what's called an en route, and it's a place that you can stop to get some food. You can drink, like you can get coffee, you can go to the bathroom. There's like a little convenience store, little
Okay.
food court. Like it's like something like that. It's like a communal place.
We have
And
that
then
on like the toll roads.
okay.
Yeah.
And then we have like obviously the gas station,
Yep.
right? So they have a drive-through Tim Hortons. So it's right on my way to work. It's so easy to just like scoot off really quickly
Yeah.
and then scoot back onto the highway. Like it's super convenient. And the lineups aren't usually as bad. So I usually go there. So I'm a regular at that Tim Hortons. Like I know a couple of the managers now, and
You loser.
I know. And it's funny because I can always tell when they're not working because the service is atrocious. Um, so um I go to Starbucks on days that I get paid because then I can like treat myself like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
couple times a month, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just stupid expensive.
Yeah. And you just feel bad about it.
Yeah. So I used to go to the one at the en route
Hmm.
because like I said, convenience, it's really good, easy to get in and out. But they always get my order wrong.
Oh.
Like multiple mornings in a row when I wasn't just going with a paycheck. Um, I would ask for a venti. They'd always give me a grande. And then
Really?
I'd have to like remake it. And it was just like the most obnoxious thing ever. And I'm very loud at the speaker.
Can
Like,
I get?
like I don't get it. And they even repeat it back as a venti, right? So
Yeah.
it was just the dumbest shit. And then they would get my order wrong constantly. Like it just the drinks didn't have enough flavor or anything. And so today I ordered a cinnamon dolce latte.
Ooh,
What
those are good.
I what I got kind of tasted like pepperminty,
Oh.
and it was gross, and I was not what I ordered. So I was like, you know what? Enough's enough.
I can't do this anymore.
So they gave me $10
Oh,
on a gift card, like they automatically uploaded it to my phone.
nice.
And the other crappy part about this en route Starbucks is that you can't use your stars. You can't use your rewards there
Oh,
because they're part of en route. So
that's
it's
stupid.
even more obnoxious because I can't like get a rewards or anything or
Yeah.
whatever. But I just wanted to let everybody know I'm not super nice all the time.
I don't think anybody thought that. Just kidding.
Wah, wah.
I'm just kidding.
All right, well,
They're
fuck
so
you.
nice.
Fuck you. So Mary Timney, what?
I thought you were saying like, so Merry Christmas. But you said so Mary Timney, and it like took my brain a second to like figure out what happened.
Oh gosh, Ashley, Ashley. So for my sources, I used BBC.com, News from the Past blog,
Ooh.
National Archives, Law Cornell EDU, blah blah blah, and headysherbs.co, blah blah blah. Okay.
Lots of blah blah
So
blahs.
so it's a very old story. So I'm fairly certain the articles I used got all of this information from a friggin' news article.
Oh,
Like
okay.
this was in the newspaper
Okay.
and I saw it. It was really cool actually. But our stories have a lot of similarities.
Was yours a giggling grandma too?
No, no.
Oh,
But there's a lot of similarities. So
okay.
Mary Read, also known as Timney, so Mary Timney, was put to death in Dumfries on Tuesday morning for the deliberate killing of Anne Hannah on January 13th of last. And I think this was like 1862.
Okay. So a while ago.
Yeah. The deceased, Anne Hannah, resided at Carpshad. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. I'm so sorry, Scotland. A little farm on the route to the well-known Glenkins with her two brothers. So Anne Hannah lived with her two brothers, okay? Okay. In that
Okay.
little cabin.
Okay.
Mary's cabin, where she lived as the laboring man Francis Timney's wife, was located around 50 yards away from the house. Like 50 yards isn't much, right? Or is it
Half
a
a football
lot?
field.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
No.
Okay. So they're pretty close together, these houses, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just something to remember.
Okay. Now I'm freaking out and panicking that I am wrong, so I'm gonna Google it really quick. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, so about half a football field. Okay, I was right.
Okay, so
Panicked
that's not
myself.
very far at all.
No.
So important to remember.
Okay.
The deceased was left alone on the morning of the murder when her two brothers left at around 9 o'clock to go to work at a location that was 3 miles away.
Okay.
I don't know how this is a name, but when a woman named Malelin passed the deceased's cottage at around 1 in the afternoon, she called out, and then, unfortunately, she saw the body lying in the kitchen in puddles of her own blood.
Oh.
Poor Anne was discovered to have, this is insane to me. She had 4 fractures in her skull, 2 broken ribs,
Oh.
dis discolored arms, and various wounds throughout her body.
Oh my gosh, that poor thing.
Yeah. A blood-smeared poker and a butcher's knife were discovered on the floor, along with hair and blood marks.
Oh, that's awful.
The now detained Mary was approached by her neighbors, and she said that she had never left her home throughout the day.
Okay.
But the neighbors thought that that was really odd, considering she should have heard something. Their
Okay.
houses aren't that far apart.
Yeah.
Like, there would have been some screaming.
Yeah, I'm
So
trying to think like, you've seen my house. Our houses are really close.
they're really close.
I've never heard my neighbors.
Well, we also have insulation.
Oh yeah, I guess they didn't really have that back then. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So there would have been something, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
those windows don't seal very well.
Yeah.
There, something should have been heard, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they thought it was weird because she didn't hear anything.
Okay.
But when the property was searched, blood-stained clothes were discovered knotted in a shadowy loft. And some of the clothing that the subject was wearing when the police confronted her also had bloodstains on them.
Oh, Mary.
I know. Like,
Idiot.
get your shit in the laundry.
Stay dumb. One of my podcasts that I listen to says that all the time. Stay dumb, criminals.
Honestly. Mary's own children recognized the blood-stained tartan dress as the one she had on the morning of the murder when it was discovered wrapped around the items that were found in the loft.
Oh.
Time to go, kids. Behind a meal tub, a freshly cleaned wooden mallet covered in hair and blood was discovered. And I
Why?
think a meal tub is literally just a fucking sink.
Why would she take one of the weapons and leave two of the weapons there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe because the other ones were already belonging at scene,
Okay. So she just like
right?
left them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, she doesn't sound like the smartest cookie there is, so who knows?
Smartest Mary in the jar.
What?
I don't know.
Are there a lot of Marys in jars?
I was trying to come up with something clever and it just did not come to my
You just
brain.
think so.
Yeah. Okay. So Mary had, like, she didn't have a lot of money. Her husband was a laborer, right?
Mhm.
But following this murder, 7S 7D. I'll explain this in a bit. So 7 lowercase s, 7 lowercase d.
Okay.
Okay. And some tea and sugar that had been missing from the deceased's cottage were discovered in her home.
Hmm.
So if you're dumb like me and you're like, what the fuck does 7S, 7D mean, Jessica?
That's what I'm saying.
It means shillings and pence.
Oh.
Latin or pence is also penny, and Latin derived from denarius.
I was wondering where the D came from, if it was pen. But okay.
Yeah. So the
So they
best
found
can,
money and sugar and tea.
yes.
Okay.
But if you're also interested in this shit like I was, and I was like, what the fuck is that in today's money?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
The best converter I could find only gave me what it would have been worth in 2017.
Okay.
And I don't believe it, but it basically said that the 7 shillings, 7 pence was 22.42 pounds because this happened in Scotland,
Uh-huh.
which today is around $37 Canadian
Oh, okay.
or $28 US,
Okay.
which is just weird because like that doesn't seem like a lot of money to me,
Yeah.
but it could have been worth a lot more back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because we don't use shillings or pence anymore, so it's not really worth anything. That's probably why.
Who knows? Who
It all
knows? It's unfigure outable.
it also mentioned that in 1860 it would have been about a day's worth of wages for a skilled tradesman.
Okay.
So that's actually kind of a big deal
Yeah. Yeah.
because I mean that would have to be like if you were skilled, right? If her
Right.
husband was dense as she was, then
Yeah.
who knows? So upon being arrested and captured, whatever, the detainee attempted to implicate her mother, who had a very well-established alibi.
Bitch.
During the trial, it was revealed that the deceased's brother had given all the prisoner's husband 2 shillings and 6 pence on the morning of the murder since he was leaving for work. Okay. So the brother got some money. The husband got some money from the brother. Okay.
Okay.
So the prisoner, Mary, had received minor loans from the deceased in the past, but these had stopped recently because they had a disagreement when Mary decided that she was going to start stealing wood.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
The dread words which thrilled the hearts of the onlookers seemed to have little influence upon her whose destiny they determined. So this is her at trial, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But when his lordship, in pronouncing sentencing, addressed her, she fairly broke down and urgently and pathetically prayed for mercy at his hands. So she's in court and
Yes.
she's getting sentencing.
Yes.
Lord Diaz told her that she seemed to have taken offense when Miss Hannah had told her that regular loans of money were going to stop. The deceased had also accused Timney of stealing wood. Whatever these causes were, they were miserably small to have produced the result which they seem to have produced, the judge said.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, that is a lot of anger for just that.
Yeah. His closing words to her have a chilling ring. It only remains for me to pronounce upon you the last sentence of the law, he said. The time of all of us in this world is short. With most of us, it is uncertain. In your case, your days are numbered.
Oh, sassy.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Yeah, I like it.
He then put on the black cap and sentenced her to be hanged by the neck
Oh shit.
upon a gibbet till she be dead.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, like escalated.
Yeah.
At the trial, it will be remembered the prisoner made a heart-rending appeal to Lord Deas. I don't know. It's Scottish. It's like it looks like Diaz.
Okay.
Deas. I don't know. D's?
These
D's
nuts.
nuts.
Are we so stupid?
Oh my God. funny. All right. So at the trial, it will be remembered the prisoner made a heart-rending appeal to Lord Dace. Okay. When her when he was sentencing her to death. So she cried out, "Oh Lord, my Lord, dinna do that."
That like morphed into something horrific and slightly Jamaican.
Give me anything but that. Let Lord save for me. Oh, me wins.
That was a bit better.
Following the prisoner's death sentence, Dumfries undertook intense efforts to secure a sentence commutation in order to spare the town the horrifying spectacle of the execution. Over 2,000 signatures on a general petition and 3,187 signatures on a petition signed only by women were forwarded to the
Oh.
Home Office. In addition, a group of women awaited Sir George Grey. And if you're like me, should be like a segment.
If you're like me with Jessica.
Literally. And you didn't know. Oh, great podcast episode. Thoughts, girl.
Thoughts.
And you didn't know what commutation meant. And I had a duh moment when I was reading the definition of it. It means to commute a sentence.
Oh, okay.
So it's the power to substitute a sentence imposed by the judiciary for a lesser sentence. In other words, it means the power to reduce or lessen a sentence resulting from a criminal conviction. For example, a 10-year sentence may be commuted to a 5-year sentence.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they keep calling her the prisoner, but Mary confessed to her crime, blaming it on jealousy of the deceased, who she believed had gained power over her husband. So jealousy.
Okay.
On
Okay.
Friday, official word came that Sir George Grey saw no reason to intervene in the prisoner's case and that the law would be allowed to run its course.
Wow.
And the last days of her life were quite stressful. And that's the other thing. They make you wait and you know you're going to die back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
There's
it's
no
just
like, yeah.
crazy. So the jail chaplain paid her a visit on Saturday and advised her to face her impending death rather than clinging to false hopes. Upon hearing this, she lost all self-control and became quite upset. After 3 interviews with her husband, she bid them farewell with an embrace from her entire family on Monday. It was very painful for the mother and children to part ways, but she didn't seem to care much about her husband.
Bye, bitch.
Despite the rumors that they didn't get along well and that he was 15 years older than her.
Oh, shit.
She had a bout of hysteria at night and stayed there for a while. Okay, that was weird. The scaffold, which was taken from Edinburgh, Edinburgh. I never know. I always like second guess myself.
Edinburgh? 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 I don't know.
Edinburgh, Edinburgh, Edinburgh. I don't know. Was so the scaffold was taken from there, was raised above the jail courtyard wall throughout the night as the wretched woman slept.
Oh.
So, and she could see it from her window.
Oh, shit.
When Calcraft, the hangman, and her and Mary's 2 like helpers or assistants, I don't know. I don't know if they were just like escorts to the gallows. Who knows? But they helped her reach the cell. Wait. No, sorry. She reached the cell at they reached the cell at 8 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got
These assistants went to her cell. I'm so sorry.
it.
It's all timey words and it's confusing my brain. She was crying and she was moaning for them to stop. Then the melancholy procession started, with the guilty party being led by the two hangman's helpers, and submitting to them as if she were a little kid. The burial service was not read, nor was there a mournful prison bell. So that's really sad.
Yeah.
After taming an angle of the prison, which I was trying to look up the meaning of that, and I'm assuming like she just got to a certain angle. Who knows? Maybe I'm just stupid. But she saw the scaffold for the first time. So
Oh.
she yelled, "Oh, let me rest a bit," as she stared madly at the contraption.
Oh.
Naturally, this request was approved, but then the sorrowful woman started to climb the scaffold, being helped up step by step by her helpers, while wailing hysterically, "Oh, me poor weens," over and over again. Calcraft went about his business until a cry of "Stop!" was raised. Guys, I should be an actor. Breathlessly, a messenger entered the courtyard and gave the jail's governor a letter. Everybody, even Calcraft, paused, and the attendants started to believe that they had received a dispatch from the Home Office. And if you remember, all those petitions were thought to have gone to the Home Office.
Okay.
So petitions to get this to stop, right?
Yeah.
So the letter read, it's going to be real wild, guys, because it's old timey. Upper Stamford Street, London, 4th MO. I'm assuming Monday. Dear sir, will you cause a telegram to be forwarded to me with the latest particulars of the last moments of the unhappy woman Timney, who is to be executed tomorrow morning, and I shall feel obliged, if possible, send it at as early a period as possible, as the news will be required for the London evening papers, which go to press at 1 o'clock. The enclosed order will frank any length message, and depending on your kindness, I have the honor to be your most obediently, J.H. Butterfield.
Wasn't
So
bad. That
essentially,
wasn't bad.
it was the newspaper being like, "Yo, yo, hook me up with the latest deets of this woman dying." That's what it was, Ashley.
Yo, yo, hook me up.
After this was read, the jail governor yelled for the proceedings to continue. So they did. The wretched woman was between her two assistants. She was so thin, so pale, so worn with her sorrows that she appeared far more like an elderly woman of 70 than a woman of 27. Role reversal.
I was gonna say, so
She pulled a Nanny, but in reverse. Her cheeks were sunk and her head was bowed down, but she occasionally jerked it up to take a wild survey of the audience below. Calcraft, with his bushy white beard and black velvet skull cap, appeared behind her, holding a coil of new rope. With her cap off, Calcraft covered her face with one he had in his pocket, while she continued to sob and mumble incoherently.
hmm.
The rope was unfastened around her neck. However, it lacked a crook at the other end, which would have allowed the hangman to connect it to the beam above. So this required him to summon 2 steps, which he ascended, taking a full 2 minutes, during which the
Oh my
doomed woman
god.
stood, trembling between her two supporters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like you know what's coming and you can only stand there.
Ugh. Oh, that gives me chills. I mean, she's a horrible woman, but
Yeah.
that's awful still.
When Calcraft finished setting up, and with the help of his men, he hauled her up onto the slender trapdoor, pulled the bolt, and it was all over. At the station, Calcraft was booed and pushed as he departed at 11:15 a.m. He took a considerable portion of the hissing and had a wallflower in his black coat breast. And if you're like me and you didn't know, Or we're wondering why like a wallflower was so significant as like an actual plant. It's the flower, right? I didn't know that was the thing. I thought it was just like the social thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it is a charming native plant with a wealth of folklore, and it's a classic emblem of faith in the face of hardship. So, an ancient Scottish folktale describes a stunning young woman who perished from the tall turret of the castle she was held captive at and was reborn as a wallflower.
Oh,
So, kind of like our girl,
yeah, okay.
right? So, kind of cool. It's really cool. Scotland would never again see a public execution of a woman, although the practice persisted elsewhere in Britain for 6 more years until Francis Kidder was hanged in Maidstone in 1868. Still, that was not the last chapter in Dumfries' association with the practice. In 1868, murderer Robert Smith, the last person to be publicly hanged in Scotland, also perished in the town. And even now, the Dumfries Museum exhibits his death mask. And although a legislation mandating that all executions take place in prisons was passed in the same year of 1868, it would take another century for the death penalty for murder to be completely abolished. So, with Mary Timney's death, there were changes that arrived. Oh, wait. Blah, 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 blah. So, these were changes that arrived too late to absolve Mary Timney of her crime of killing her neighbor.
Yeah.
Because, so, but her death kind of caused that to come into being. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the death penalty, obviously,
uh-huh.
but I also don't really feel that bad for her because she did like horribly, brutally murder her neighbor for like a stupid reason.
I mean, jealousy, right? It does in a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm for it and I'm against it.
Yeah.
I don't like getting into the politics of it too much because obviously it's a intense topic. But I I think in some cases it was necessary.
Yeah, my issue with the death penalty is that the system the justice system gets it wrong sometimes.
Oh, of course.
And executing an innocent person, I'd rather just not have the death penalty and just have people stay life in prison, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of my thought on it, but
No,
what do you guys
that's fair.
think?
Yeah, I think we've asked them before, so but none of you guys talk to us, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was my story on Mary Timney.
Very interesting and horribly, horribly accented, but you know, the story was well said.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Um, so I don't know what it's in honor of, but there instead of doing jokes, I have a little thing
Oh, okay.
because it keeps coming across my TikTok and I think it's the funniest shit ever.
Okay.
So it's Orca Facts. Have you seen
Okay.
it?
No.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Orca Fact number 114. And this is from Orca Corker on TikTok.
Oh, jeez.
Orcas do not eat Pringles as their fins cannot fit in the tube. Orca Fact. Orcas eat all of their food raw as they cannot operate an oven.
These are so stupid. I love them.
Orca Fact number 115. Shit. A popular Christmas movie for orcas is Love Orcally.
So stupid.
Orca Fact. Bodybuilding orcas like to drink whale protein shakes before their workout.
No.
Orca fact. Yorkshire puddings are an orca's favorite part of Christmas dinner.
I don't get that one.
I don't either. Maybe it's just telling us that it's his favorite. We might meet this guy one day.
Oh.
And if you want more of us, lovely ladies.
Oh, that was it? I thought you had more.
No.
Oh, okay. If you want more of us, lovely ladies, you can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And Patreon.
And Patreon. Join our Patreon.
Yeah, we're fun over there.
We're real fun.
And if you would like to rate and review us, you can do so on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Yay. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to bringing you two new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.